Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. Boog Nice coming at you with an update. So first and foremost, please go back, check out last week's episode or Friday's episode of the Articulated Comic Book Art Podcast. Episode 207 is available for your listening and viewing pleasure. Of course, we talked about this Haslab campaign, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, and his Hell Charger. And that's pretty much what I want to talk about in this video. So strap in. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini maybe I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about it.
Real quick, speaking of a hell of a ride, I was just in the podcast group chat. The October list is complete. Really excited about this year. I hope we get a lot of participation from everybody in the community. I love these events. I love this. I love just watching people do their thing, displaying across all of the lines, interpreting the themes in any number of cool and clever ways. This is going to be a great October event for 2022. Now, let's get a couple things out of the way before I get into everything that I want to say in regards to the Haslab and whether or not I'm backing it and whether or not I think you should. At the end of the day, this is all about yours and my personal happiness as it relates to toys. Now, this is supposed to be something fun and enjoyable for all of us. So let's try to keep the bickering, the name calling, the disrespect, making it personal. We got to keep that out of this comment section. My policy is that I don't censor anyone. I allow you to say whatever it is that you want to say. I'll go back and forth with you. I'll spar with you in the comments. I very rarely block anyone. You have to do something really egregious for me to block you. So for the most part, I'll let everything rock. Even if you say something directly about me, I usually let it rock. But some of you dudes, as of late, have been getting real beside yourself and making this very personal. I don't know you. You don't know me. Don't make it personal. All of this dick riding and sucking dick and references like that is wild out of pocket, wild disrespectful, and I don't appreciate that type of shit. It's out of bounds, it's out of line. It's a few things you just don't do. You don't invite another man to your penis ever. That's never acceptable. Don't ever play yourself or try to play me and say something like that to me or about me. I'm not going for that. Black people don't play like that, man. That's just totally disrespectful. Now, if you want to say, Boog, you a shill, you pony up to Hasbro, you are biased for Hasbro. Okay, I'm definitely biased for Hasbro, Marvel Legends. I love Marvel Legends. I've been here from day one trying to get to this exact point that we are at right now. And if you want to say that I'm biased, that's valid. The whole show conversation, that's a whole nother thing. I don't work for Hasbro. I don't get paid from Hasbro in any way, shape, or form. When I give you my views on something, it's my actual, real thoughts. I give you the pros and cons. And at the end of the day, it's your decision to purchase something or not. I have never received anything from Hasbro other than product early sometimes to do a review. No money, no paid campaigns. I get absolutely nothing aside from an uptick in viewers if I do an early review or something like that. No one is getting paid from Hasbro. That's me. That's any other reviewer out there that you can think of. Nobody is being directly contacted by Hasbro and paid to say or do anything. And it's a ridiculous notion that you guys like to make up. You make up this whole scenario, this make-believe scenario, and then you get yourself upset over that make-believe scenario and then start attacking myself and Shardamus and all of these other people, and then making it very personal and doing personal attacks on these people. And that shit is completely ridiculous. Again, the root of this is we supposed to be enjoying some of our favorite comic book characters in the form of little plastic men, in the form of toys. There's no reason shit should be this contentious and this ugly and this toxic in the community. You guys gotta chill the fuck out. Just stepping out for a brief moment in the middle of editing this so I could grab a bite to eat. But I would actually argue that I work for you guys. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a fan. I'm a collector like you. I have been afforded some access to Hasbro. You know, I do get to sit down with them, and I try my best to be fair but firm with them when I get to sit down and ask them questions. I'm definitely going to have a lot of questions as it relates to this Haslab campaign. But if I'm lying, I'm flying. Ask anybody from the early days. Again, I've been collecting Marvel Legends from the very beginning. Axe my man Ja, Axe E, Axe G, Axe Swift, Danny LeBlanc, anybody, how we were in those very early New York Comic Con panels, 2010, 2011. They didn't actually come back to New York Comic Con. We were so like rough on them. But, you know, I fought for where we are right now in terms of telling them, listen, y'all need to with the displaying community, with the ACBA community. This will help you sell product. Y'all need to open up your doors to the reviewers, send out product to them. I'm the one that actually fought for all of that to give some of these folks the access that they have right now. So I'm not trying to squander that, and I'm gonna do my very best to continue to have that line of communication open and for it to be, again, a fair but firm situation. But we all been asking for this in terms of better product, more character selection, a Sentinel that is actually the right scale, a larger Galactus, and vehicles. This is what we've been asking for, and finally they were able to give it to us through the Haslab campaign. And so listen, this is a make or break moment. All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Did I back the project? Absolutely. I backed the project for 2 reasons right out of the gate. 1, because I want it, but 2, because I do want the additional figure, the early bird special. So that will give us 2 figures, the car, all of the effect parts, if 9,000 people back the project before the 23rd, I believe is the date. I understand the assignment. I understand the game. Now, they gave us all the effect parts and all of the stuff that goes on the car rather than put those in as stretch goals. We saw a teaser for Mephisto, so we could pretty much safely assume that Mephisto is probably going to be one of the stretch goals. I think that makes sense because I don't know if they would be able to do a deluxe Mephisto at retail. You know, some parents and religious folks and what have you may rail against that. That may be an issue. I don't know. They pretty much confirmed that all of the tiers are going to be additional figures. Hopefully it'll be figures along with some type of accessory to really bolster this entire set. If we get Mephisto and a throne, that'd be dope. That'd be like one deluxe figure that you would get all together in a box at retail. And listen, we have to accept that the prices for Hasbro have gone up. Do I like it? Do I want to accept it? Absolutely not. I fucking hate it. But the prices have gone up. The prices of everything have gone up. The prices of raw materials are up. This is the reality of it. That's just what it is. I was in the hoodest of hood bodegas the other day, and a bacon, egg, and cheese is $5 there. Bacon, egg, and cheese was half the price not too long ago. Inflation is a global phenomenon. Everything is inflated right now. It is what it is. I hear the comparisons about McFarlane and McFarlane keeping their prices at a relatively affordable level, and I agree, but I also don't really like the McFarlane product. I don't like the proportions. I don't like collecting a 7-inch scale. I don't like the big wrist pegs, and I don't like that they don't get things properly scaled between the figures in the line. I'm not really messing with that. For the most part, Marvel Legends does have a pretty good, streamlined, very close to accurate scale with all of their characters. I'm also not a big DC fan personally. I'm a Marvel fan, and so that's what it is for me. But anyway, getting back to the other potential stretch goals. If we can assume that there are going to be 2 more figures with the early bird special, that would be 5 figures in total. I'm really hoping that one of those other figures is Robbie's little brother, and there's some wheelchair accessible feature that you can put him inside the car in a wheelchair. That would be phenomenal. That and Mephisto alone would be very great tiers. But again, let's assume that it's just 3 additional figures along with the early bird special, powered down version of Robbie, and a powered up version that comes with the car initially. Now we know that the new price for regular single releases are about $25 to $30, at least in the US. Let's guesstimate on the low end, and let's say the 5 figures are going to be worth $25 each, even though if it's Mephisto and some type of throne or something like that, that would probably really be more like in a $40 price range. But again, let's guesstimate low. Let's say $25 for 5 figures. That's $125. Now, the $350 price, everything is already baked into that price. Getting to the stretch goals does not raise the price at all. The $350 is the $350. Do I like it? Hell no, I don't like it. But if we assume on the low end, the 5 figures are $125, that'll take $125 off of the $350. That'll bring the car down to $225. We're talking about a car with lights, no sounds. There's no RC component. I've heard the comparisons about the RC Batmobile, the Ben Affleck Batman that goes with that first RC Batmobile that was like $230. $230 originally. I bought that. I like it. It's a great piece, but I don't really need the RC feature, but it's a great fucking piece for $230. No question about it. I actually got that particular vehicle for $100 though. Shout out to my man Dave BX. We actually drove up to some supermarket up in Yonkers, and for whatever reason, they had that on clearance in a supermarket, and I got it for $100. But that was a clearance situation, just being transparent. If we saying $230 for that Batmobile, which is heavy, it has an RC component, there's some light up features, and you compare that to just the $225 for the Marvel Legends car with the light up features. Let's not even count the effects, just the car with the light up features. The only thing the Haslab car is missing is the RC component for the most part. The most recent RC car that came out, you can't even open the doors. As you can see here, somebody's cutting or prying the door open to get the figure inside. But again, where we are currently in terms of inflation, the $225 just for the light up car versus the $230 that we paid a few years ago for the RC Batmobile, it is what it is. The price is up. Now, if we want to take all the effect parts from the car and we want to put a price on just those effect parts, let's think about the Tamashi effect parts, the explosion parts or the wave effects or any of those things like that. Those things are going for like $40, $50 right now. Would you guys say that the light up effects that come with the car are worth $50, $60? I'd say so. Swapping out the tires, the flame effects for the tires, the smoke risers. So I think we could take another $50 away from the $225 for the car, and that pretty much brings the car down to $175. And again, this is all guesstimating on the low end, where we are with the price of materials, with inflation. I honestly don't think that's terrible. So the $350 total baked in with 5 figures, the effects, the lights, there's no RC component, but the doors and everything open. It's very specific to the character, to Marvel Comics. It's almost accurate. I think the best thing to do is to actually see what the stretch goals are and then make a final decision. So to play that game, it would make sense for everybody to just back the project, get the early bird figure, figure out what the stretch goals are, and then at the very end, if we all collectively decide that this is really not worth it, then nobody has to spend their money. They don't charge you until 12 a.m. on September 1st. So you have 40 days or so to back out if you're not happy with those stretch goals. But collectively, we could all play the game by just backing the project and seeing what the stretch goals are. See if they actually did us dirty or if everything is worth the $350. If we get a Mephisto and a throne and a brother with the wheelchair and put him in the car and another figure, the early figure, the figure that comes with the car, light up features, effects, would that be worth the $350? I'm willing to play the game and to just see what's what. Nobody has to spend any money if you're not happy with the deal. And that's pretty much the deal. In no way, shape, or form do I feel like this is a Rancor situation. This is a really dope piece. I think that is the overall consensus, that everybody thinks that this is fire. But the hang up is with the price. And I get that. I understand that. But let's see the project in its full capacity before we make a final decision on whether or not to spend our bread. Getting all up in arms and yelling and ranting and raving and calling other people out of their name. For what? We don't even know what's what yet. Again, if at the end of the day you feel it's not worth it, then do not spend your money. But collectively, as a community, we should still play the game so we can see all that they have to offer. And that's my 2 cents. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Again, let's keep the comments respectful. I'll be chiming in the comments section as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you for hanging out. And until next time, peace.
I'm in the game, I'm grinding, I got to play 24 hours in a day, 7 days out the week, I never sleep. I'm on my grizzly bear, 52 weeks out the year.